we are not. It is not that type of maid nor that type of chef. And it's very interesting. Hold on, wait, real talk, real talk. You do realize that like both of those are services that they have now for like you have scantily clad women that come over and do both, and I think that's very weird. Like, am I the only one that would be like, yo, like, bro, you're making brunch, you're making grits and bacon, like you're gonna get popped by the grease or the grits.
Have you
like,
seen? Now I will say, look, I'll be the first one to come right out and say, I explore a bit when it come to videos online, but this one found me. Have y'all seen the one where it's dudes pay women? Well, it's not even dudes, but they have like these brunch parties where the women be naked and be cooking brunch.
Where the women do what?
They be naked and be cooking brunch.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, bro. Like they like it's very weird. It's
Bro, they
very,
be making like bacon.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Why would you do that? That's crazy. That's insane, bro. And here's the thing, right? My diet now like is extremely healthy. I eat 3 kiwis a day, 1 avocado a day. Like I like am very like strict on trying not to eat out and all that. I still make bacon from time to time. Of course, I make grits, bro.
You ain't never made a bacon.
The way that those pop. You naked?
Dog.
What are you doing? That's great. So anyway, we're not talking about that type of chef or maid, but would you rather have a chef or a maid, fellas?
I'm gonna go with chef just cause I'm a pretty clean person. I'm not the cleanest person in the world, but at the same time, my crib ain't never been so much of a mess where it's something I couldn't knock out, you know, with just like a Saturday morning cleaning session, a couple hours max. But food, on the other hand, I'm so busy and I'm trying to, you know, slowly change my diet. It's hard for me to meal prep all the time. It's hard for me to find the time to cook because, you know, most days I'm getting off of work, getting home at 5:30. We prepping for the podcast at 6. I got to edit after. I might stream. So just like my time is so concise, I feel like a chef would not only, one, help me get healthier and get in shape, but two, would knock out a lot of time management issues that I'm having.
All right, Chris, which one you going with, chef or maid?
I was going down that rabbit hole that he was going down. That yeah, chef would give me time back for one, and also help me hit some fitness goals that I've been trying to hit too, right? But here's why I'm gonna go maid. I'm gonna go maid for this reason. If you rely on a chef, you become dependent of a chef, right? If I do all the cooking stuff, the research and all that behind it, it's more liable. I follow that diet even when I'm like out of town, even when I go buy food. You know what I mean? A maid still gives me time back and also help me organize things better where I save time on other things as well. So like if I go to my closet and I know exactly where this shirt gonna be at, I don't have to think about where it's gonna be at or this hoodie gonna be at. So to me, a maid give me the time management piece. Not having a chef gives me the learning piece that I need so I can get my own goals because of me. You know, that's my thought process at least.
I feel, well, from a time management perspective, I definitely feel like I spend more time cooking than I do cleaning.
Well, I mean, I don't think so. I cook like 3 meals a week. That don't really take that much time for me. Grocery shopping take more time than cooking for me.
Facts.
So let me let y'all in on the secret about me, okay? A lot of people think that because I'm very big and like I love trying new restaurants, that like I'm the type of person that eats 100 different things. No, I do that when I go to different restaurants and whatnot.
Right.
When I'm at the crib, I make the same stuff all the time, and it slaps every time because I know how to make it for me and my taste buds. Where am I getting at with this? Long story short, the worst part about cooking to me is not like how long it takes or seasoning the food or anything. It's the cleaning up afterwards. Give me the maid, run that, roll it. Like what?
You gotta clean while you cooking, bro.
See, but still,
here's the thing. Even if I clean while I'm cooking, I still have to do the cleaning. Like at some point in time, I have to do the cleaning, and it's not. And certain things you can't clean bacon grease. I just said I like bacon. You can't clean that
Facts.
while you cook. Put water in hot bacon grease if you want to. Tell me how that goes for you. Tell me the results of your experiment there. You know what I mean? Like,
well, what he said is, you take the skillet, you pour the grease out, then pour the skillet in the sink, and then cook your eggs while you washing the skillet.
Where you gonna pour the grease at, Chris? Where you gonna pour the grease?
You ain't never seen the hood specials. You get your little.
Yeah, I know you get the Pyrex.
Still gotta wait for it to cool off a little bit.
Exactly. Pour hot grease.
I will tell you a secret
grease.
though. I haven't done it in a long time just because the place I'm at don't need it. But if you got like some plants or weeds or something that you've been trying to kill when weed killer ain't doing it, when you done cooking, take that hot bacon grease outside,
bacon grease in
pour it on the
yeah,
roots.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we been through that.
We all for the same place. My bad.
Deforestation is my main game, baby. Okay, I got the black thumb. I'll touch it. It's gonna die if I want to.
Oh no, Mayor. The mayor said use your bacon grease to cook the eggs. My heart.
Oh no!
No, that's different. That's different.
Mayor, we want you around to see Nachon's children. What are you doing, brother? You can't. Come on, man. What? Oh, mix cornstarch and use oil. Okay, that might work out. But if you was raw dogging the bacon grease,
That's wild.
Boy, I know your cholesterol, boy. Somebody cut you, you gonna start bleeding milk for real. That's crazy. That's ooh. But anywho, all right. Well, fellas, we got to talk about some housekeeping and some cleaning of our home. We got to talk about who's getting the MVP and who's going to get into the playoffs from the play-in. We got to talk about it because the play-in games are tonight. As soon as we are done recording this pod, as soon as we cut the live, you can go straight to wherever you get your local games from to watch the play-in. So we're going to talk awards. We're going to talk some play-in. We're going to talk some – it's going to be some debate here because there was also a very blasphemous statement that I can't let ride before this show is over that I left off the rundown and y'all might be surprised about it. But y'all just be ready. Be on your toes, all right? Y'all ready for this, fellas?
I'm ready for it.
Yes, sir.
All righty, well, let's get into it. What's up, y'all? Have a seat. It's your favorite hour of the week with the facts over at Axe Crew. We got the master, the mixer master, Josh Guyton in the building.
That is I.
We got the money man, the man with the plan, Chris Allen in the building.
Right here.
And then you got the little old MC, that's me, Kenton Gibbs. Now, fellas, I think that it is very clear. I don't think that anybody is making any arguments about this play-in being potentially one of the most exciting play-ins that we have seen since its inception. We have the two teams battling it out for we have the four teams rather for the 7 seeds battling it out, and boy, it's looking like it's going to be some very good battles between the Lakers, who have had a late push to get themselves in contention and in this position, up against the Timberwolves, who seem to be falling apart at the seams. But you know what they say, an animal leaps highest when wounded. And then on the other side, in the East, you have got the Hawks against the Heat, which is a very similar situation in some regards in that the Hawks, I mean, what's going on with them? Are they really ready to do this? In the Heat, you know, Chris, them your boys, but can Spo get it done? Is Jimmy the guy? Are they going to be ready? Are they going to be healthy enough to get through the playoffs? All these questions and more on today's episode of The Play-In. No, but seriously, fellas, I'm going to start with you, Josh. Give me your winners who will be the 7th seed in the playoffs. Give me your winners tonight.
The 7th seed, I got the Los Angeles Lakers in the West. Gobert is their only interior defender, and we know, what's going on with that. Hence the name of the episode. And
listen, anytime you count on a French player,
we told y'all last week. We told y'all last week.
You're not in good.
And this is also the healthiest AD that we probably have ever seen in the Lakers uniform. As far as the level that he's playing at, and I think this is going to be AD's game. I think the Lakers. This is going to be one of those games. It's the West Coast game. I know, Chris, you got to be up in the morning. I got to be up in the morning. I think by the time 11 o'clock, 11:30 roll around, we're going to be like, all right, I'll watch the rest of the highlights in the morning because it's not going to be a close game.
Okay. All right, Chris, what you thinking? Who's making it? Who's the 7 seeds?
I'm rolling with the Heat first and foremost to my guys. And Spo play for May and June, man. Spo don't really care about Spo. What people don't realize, before a guy named Brad Stevens came along, there was Eric Spoelstra, a guy that could put people in positions to be successful. Right now, I'm a big Brad Stevens fan too. Don't get me wrong, but Spo been doing this, and he been doing this, and he been doing this. Right.
Hey, man, Spo got Duncan Robinson paid. That's probably his greatest accolade to say, like, I belong in the Hall of Fame. I got this guy a $90 million contract.
I will say if I have the Heat as well. I'll let Chris keep explaining, but if you got somebody that never watched basketball and showed them like just the playoffs, they will watch a Heat game, think Jimmy Butler is the greatest basketball player of all time. It is about that time of year.
He always turns into prime Jordan during the playoffs. I don't know what happens, but that man is it's nasty work. Go ahead, Chris. Who you got coming out the West, man?
I got the Lakers. So, unfortunately, I think they're gonna play with their food before they really eat it. So I think they win in blowout fashion, but I don't think it happened to the end of the third quarter. I really don't. The Lakers is just one of those teams. It's just hard to take them serious, man. Like, it was even worse before they made the moves they made. But AD seemed like he show up here, then he go on Stench. He go on a little stink spree. Then LeBron step up. Then LeBron kind of defers to AD. He go back. I don't know, man. The Lakers weird. I think they win in about 11, 12 points, but I don't think that it's going to be a blowout like people think. Edwards got something to say about that, and I think he's rejuvenated and he's fired up. But we'll see. We'll see.
The two teams that are running into, and they beat me to it in the comments here, but the two teams that are running into serious chemistry issues, they finna get put in the pack. The Hawks are allegedly talking about getting Trae Young out of there, which I'm glad that Trae Young is realizing he's not the number one on the championship team this young. Super exciting. That's great news for somebody.
I don't think he's realizing it. I think the Hawks are realizing it.
I mean, I'm gonna tell you this. If it took the Hawks this young to realize it, this is why I tell people all the time that, you know, folks were talking about Giannis's big brother and saying like he wouldn't be in the league if it wasn't for Giannis. Look at these front offices and what they're doing. Look at their last names. Look at who their mothers, fathers, cousins, uncles are. A lot of these people don't need their jobs.
Facts.
If you watched him at Oklahoma and said, that's the guy. That's my guy right there. He's going to be the number one on the championship team. You don't deserve your job. You just don't.
I think he could be a two for sure.
That's what I think he's your ideal two. Honestly, he's your ideal because
he's what Harden is to Embiid right now, to me.
And I think that he's a little bit improved on that because if your two or if your one is anything other than a ball dominant small forward or a guard, he's perfect. He's perfect. If your one is Jokic, Embiid, if your one is Giannis, he's your guy. That's your two. That's your, if AD is your one, that is your two right there. He's the prime guy. With that being said, the two teams that are running into chemistry problems, do y'all remember what happened to the Warriors after the Draymond punch? They started off the season
garbage.
terribly.
Yeah.
They started off the season terribly. Because it's one thing for internal problems to happen because it blows over like it's nothing. It's another thing for the whole world to see y'all having problems. It's another thing for Kyle Anderson to be going to the locker room saying, y'all kiss his rear end too much. Y'all kiss his rear end too much. That's the problem around here. And by the way, anybody who says that's not the worst trade in NBA history, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Walker Kessler is literally Rudy Gobert to the T, just listening to country music instead of eating baguettes. It's literally.
Yeah, I can't think of one that's worse. The only one that come to mind, the only one that's up there, was when Brooklyn took on Paul Pierce and KG and all them when they was almost 40. And they gave up all of their assets and everything to the Celtics.
But here's why I could at least understand and see that one. You could at least say these are players with championship pedigree, and I'm getting multiple players. So even if one of them underperforms, if the others hold form,
right,
we'll be all right.
And also, even though they were washed, they still took Miami to 7, right?
Yeah, I don't know if they took them to 7.
No, not when they was with Brooklyn. Not when they was with Brooklyn.
Okay.
Not with Brooklyn.
But either way,
I know they had a little bit of playoff success. We're not seeing it out of Minnesota.
I'll tell you this: they were further than they were the year before. They were that much. We can all agree to that. And yet, we're looking at this Timberwolves team. Weren't they a play-in team last year? Didn't they win the play-in, and that was kind of their thing last year?
Yep.
No, they was 6 seed because they played. No. You're right. They
I
was
remember
7
because they had the celebration and Pat Bev was crying and they made him a meme because they won the play-in game. Brother, you're right back there. My brothers in Christ, you gave up your future to. I mean, how does the phrase go? The good news is, brother, you came a long way. The bad news is, brother, you went the wrong way. Y'all are right back where you started. So I think that both of the teams I think this is more so about the teams that are struggling with chemistry and all that, more than the Lakers are just going to be so overwhelming and dominant, or more than Jimmy Buckets in the playoffs. His legend and the lore of Jimmy Buckets grows. It's just they're going up against teams that, like, the star don't want to be there for one team, and on the other team, you asking why is Gobert in? You know what I mean? Like that's what's going on.
And let me say this too. Last year we had a Celtics and Warriors finals, right? Mm-hmm. Does people realize that the Heat took that Celtics team that everybody salivated at the mouth with 7 games, and not just 7 games, a shot away from ruining the Celtics' chances to go to the finals? Like, if Jimmy Butler made that shot, the Heat would have been in the finals last year.
Yeah.
I don't think people realize that.
And I'll tell you this much: if the Heat are in the finals, I think that they're a better matchup for the Warriors than the Celtics are.
Agreed.
I think they're a better matchup. I think they're a much better matchup. But either way you cut it or slice it, this is still, at worst, a team that's one shot away from a final. So now we're going to look at the teams who are, we talked about the double elimination teams. Let's talk about the single elimination teams that are coming up tomorrow. Fellas, more play-in action is coming our way. And on the East, we have the Toronto Raptors going up against the Chicago Bulls. And on the West, we've got the New Orleans Pelicans against, honestly, one of the most surprising teams in the league. And yes, it's a surprise that they're in the play-in at all. Don't argue with me about this. The Oklahoma City Thunder. Fellas, who y'all got taking those games?
Out East, I got Chicago beating Toronto, even though Toronto probably got a better team, a more healthy team. It's something about that cast in Toronto that I just don't see them winning a big game. And you got, when the playoffs get here, the play-in is part of the playoffs. When the playoffs get here, you need somebody that's going to go get you a bucket. Chicago got 2 of those. Toronto got maybe 1.
So the spin ain't doing it for you no more?
The
Siakam slide ain't doing
that
it no
boy
more?
Turbo Double X. His X button is through.
Boy, I tell you what, that X button is screaming for relief.
And then that means Chicago was going against Atlanta. I got Atlanta getting an 8 seed, but it don't matter. They getting swept, once they go against Milwaukee. Then out West, I have the Pelicans beating the Thunder. The Thunder came a long way. They got a nice core. They got 3 draft picks. I think they got 3 first rounders in this upcoming draft. So the Thunder are in amazing shape, but I have the Pelicans beating them, and then the Pelicans beating the T-Wolves as well to be the AT.
Oh man, I want to let everybody know. We had the segment that Gibbs was wrong, but I just want to let everybody know, even with the parades inside their city and the guns when they should have been looking at titties, we still got a better career out of Ja Morant so far than Zion Williamson. So I just want to reiterate that. I told everybody when the draft happened, that boy's too injury prone. He's going to be hurt. Here he is hurt again. Chris, who you got to take going out the East and the West as far as the single elimination teams?
I got to ask Guyton, why are you so confident in the Pelicans?
I'm not confident in the Pelicans at all. It's just like a lesser of 2 evils. The Pelicans got a little more experience playing in big games than the Thunder, who have absolutely none. I mean, you got Shea over there who can give you a big game. But at the same time, you still got B.I. over there that can get you a big game. You got a couple of pieces in New Orleans that I see showing up in a big game as opposed to the Thunder, who just got 1.
You don't think C.J. McCollum could give you a big game there?
He give you 25 in that game.
Oh, okay. I was just checking.
I'm just saying. Let's say Shea give him 40.
Yeah.
And Bi give you 30, and McCollum give you 25.
Yeah. I mean, it's all about who's gonna come with you. In the playoffs, we all know the other guys got to chip in unless your stars go legend. Go ahead, Chris. What you got going on, man?
Well, I think opposite of you guys, man. No Zion Williamson for one, right? the Pelicans, right? If they win, they'll see Denver, right? Which, in all honesty, I don't really fear Denver and don't view them as a true championship contender yet. I think they're still a piece away, but that's my personal opinion. But I'll say this. I'll take y'all back to 2020, right? That Thunder team that had a rejuvenated Chris Paul because the Rockets shipped them out of there for Russell Westbrook. They took that Rockets team 7 games.
Right.
Like, people don't. They took that Rockets team 7 games. Now you think that now that Shay's older, Lou Dort's better. He's still a monster defensively. Josh Giddey's over there. They got a lot of guys over there that can stretch the floor and defend. They got about 4-5 guys that's 6'7" and can defend. And not to mention Shea can give you 40. I'm rolling with the Thunder. I'm sorry. The Pels, bro, they line ends here. They injured. They don't got Alvarado yet. Trey Murphy and all them guys, they've been banged up all year. This is why they in the predicament they are. Brandon Ingram been banged up all year. Valanciunas got his hands full with them young guys on that block. I'm going with the Thunder in the close one. I'm going. If you want to bet on it, take the alternative spread, Thunder plus 7.5 points. They cover that.
I'll tell you this much. Anytime you find yourself counting on Herb Jones to contribute offensively, my brother in Christ, you are looking at a tough time. He is one of the best defenders that the NBA has available today. Absolutely. I will not take that away from him. He is a bad boy. And if he can develop that offense, he can be everything that I won't say that he has the ceiling of what Kawhi Leonard was at the height of his powers, but he can reach that level per se, like that stratosphere of two-way player per se. He can do that. Like he won't be relegated to a lifelong Tony Allen if he develops anything offensively. But with that being said, he's not ready yet for you to count on him offensively. Brandon Ingram, like you said, has been through the injury bug and has gotten to him all year, and he's not that caliber of player. Chris, I got to go with you, man. I think that the Thunder take it. I think that the Thunder find a way to get in that 8 seed, and I think that that's that the Nuggets think they lucky stars, that they got them, and that's how that one's gonna work out. In the East, however, I'm very this game is such a toss up.
It's a tough one.
That's what I'm saying.
It's so tough. It's so tough to the point where I gotta let my feelings go on this one, Gibbs. I really gotta let my feelings go on this, right? Mm-hmm. And I gotta just go ahead and state the obvious. Who can name the best player on the Toronto Raptors, like definitively, like obviously?
Can't give it to you.
Yeah, I don't know, because you want to say Pascal, but Scotty has been really, really good. He's been really good down the stretch.
It depending on the night, it's some games where Chris Boucher like the best player on the team.
And Fred VanVleet went off for 20 and 20 this year, didn't he?
Exactly. So I asked that question. Out of the 4 guys y'all just named, 3 of them play the same position. Which means limited availability at that position.
Yeah.
Therefore, I think the Bulls win this pretty easily when you think about it like that. They got Vooch, DeRozan, and Levine. They start clicking late in the year to get them into the play-in because they've been hurt all year.
Yep.
But also remember, Toronto gave up on DeRozan, so he got a chip on his shoulder. I don't know why he waited till he was 33 years old to play this good basketball, but I mean, I'm really rolling with the Bulls on this one. And it ain't going to be close, I don't think.
I think it'll be a close game. I think that it'll be a toss-up, but I'm going to tell you, I think that this game comes down to, in winning time, who can get the job done. Will it be DeMar DeRozan and company? Because DeMar has been resting a few games. He should be ready. He should be rocking. He should be rolling. Or is it going to be Scotty Barnes and company? Because I think that Scotty is the guy that you want the ball in his hands during winning time. You're not going to tell me with a straight face, I want Pascal Siakam with the ball in winning time. Come on. Let's knock it off.
Exactly.
Fred VanVleet, I could see you saying I want the ball in his hands in winning time because you know you're going to make the right decision and all that. But also, I think the threat that he is off the catch and shoot, you're stupid if you take that away and try to make him a create a bucket guy instead of who he is, which is he's a really good playmaker and a knockdown catch and shoot guy. I don't want to see him have to create a bucket. So I think Scottie is the guy that you had the ball in his hands late. And then the question is between Scottie and DeRozan, who do you trust more? And honestly, I don't know. If I could make this game a push, if I could select nobody, I would. I would say, hey, I just hope everybody has fun. But
DeRozan did hit a lot of big top shots.
And this is why. And this is why I was just about to say, even though he's getting up there in age, like Chris said, he's playing some of the best basketball of his career. I think DeRozan gets it done in winning time. By a little bit. By a hair. And I mean by one of these hairs on me and Josh head, not one of the hairs on Chris head that's real visible from a mile away. I think they get it done by a little bit right there. Now, fellas, before we talk about the actual playoffs, we got to talk about these player awards because it's been some debates this year. It's been some arguments this year. It's been some back. It's been some forth. It's been some who deserves this, who deserves that, who gonna get this, who gonna get that. So we'll get the obvious ones out the way first. I don't think that anybody would disagree, even though I personally dislike the man because he's a fraud. Mike Brown is your NBA Coach of the Year. I think we'd all agree to that. Getting the Sacramento Kings a 3 seed, that merits it.
Yep. No, I don't think it's any debate about that.
All righty. I'm very saddened for the Walton family at this time, as it's as much as I joke about Mike Brown being a fraud, I'm very serious about Luke Walton. Very serious. Extreme. I ain't never been more serious about nothing in my life. Serious as a heart attack. If that man is somebody's head coach next year, I know something. But anywho, so we got the coach of the year down. Now let me ask y'all this, because this is a very interesting question that's been posed. Who's your sixth player of the year?
My sixth man of the year is Malcolm Brogdon.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's pretty clear cut. If you look at the success of Boston, if you look at what he's been doing off the bench, he's giving you, I believe he's giving you 15 a game off the bench. Yeah, he's giving you 15 a game off the bench. He's an excellent perimeter defender that they need off of the bench. And his shooting splits are 48, 44, 87. I don't really think there's anybody off the bench in the NBA that's had a better season than that. Maybe Emmanuel quickly, but I feel like his most productive stretch came from when he was starting.
That's fair. That's fair. Chris, who you got as your sixth player of the year?
So, not to jab at your pick, but Gibbs like this line that he always say, the best ability is availability.
Availability.
And guess who haven't been available this year? Malcolm Brogdon. But anyway. I'm going to roll with Emmanuel quickly. I mean, he's been a vital piece into the Knicks' success this year. You got to remember, the Knicks were 11th seed at one point before they got clicking, and quickly was their jump to that fifth seed. So I really think him playing better alongside Brunson, and also the addition to having Julius Randle finally go back to his all-star caliber self, I think quickly was the difference.
This was tough for me. This was tough for me because Quickly and Brogdon were the two serious answers here. A lot of people were talking about Bobby Portis potentially being in the conversation, saying, whoa, why can't a big win it? Shut up. He doesn't belong in this conversation. With all due respect, he's been good. He does the things that he does well. He don't belong in this conversation. With that being said, I too was down to Quickly, Brogdon. Who do you get? What do you get? And I'm going to say this. Chris is correct in that the best ability is availability. That's why Emmanuel Quickly has more win shares this season than Malcolm Brogdon. I had to break out the advanced stats on you because that's just how close this thing has gotten. But with that being said, I'm going to just tell you this. It's hard for me to overlook how good Malcolm Brogdon was when he was available. This is my last but. If you're available for that many games and you're playing for Tom Thibodeau, baby, you got to be in consideration. I got to give you the nod. I got to give Emmanuel Quickly a razor-thin edge over Malcolm Brogdon. Because let me tell you something. If we know something about Tom Thibodeau, that rotation going to be 7 deep all year long. Maybe if you lucky, 7.5 all year long. And boy, he going to work you like, I'm telling you, you're going to be out there on that court. you going to be out there on that court like nobody's business. So I think Emmanuel quickly being able to survive that and put up good numbers, be productive, and he's not quite the defender that Malcolm Brogdon is, but for him to bring all the things that he does offensively, I gotta give him his props there, gotta give him his love there. Hey, he's the guy. I think that he's the winner, and the Knicks need something. You know what I mean? The Knicks ain't won nothing in so long. They need something. It's the Mecca. And they just
when the last time did Julius Randle get that most improved that year?
He got most improved.
He had to, right?
Yeah, he got one. I know he got one most improved. And didn't Tom Thibodeau win Coach of the Year with them, or was he a contender?
Yeah, he did. He was.
Okay. Yeah, they need to win something. You know, it's good for them to win something. Still, give them something.
They are the most expensive franchise in the league.
Give them something. Give them something. You know, so with that being said, let's get into the nitty gritty. Okay, let's get to. Wait. Who is y'all defensive player of the year? Who's y'all defensive player of the year?
All right, so I know y'all gonna call me crazy for this, but just looking at this team stats with this man on and off the floor, I think it's a gimme that a lot of people would say either Jaren Jackson Jr. or Brook Lopez because how many blocks they have. But one, I feel like Brook Lopez's job is a lot easier because there's so many great defenders on Milwaukee. He just has to be at the rim and clean up. Same thing with the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies have a relatively bad defense, but down in the interior, Steven Adams is disrupting a lot of shots, putting the muscle in, taking on the big who is the biggest threat. And Jaren Jackson, even though he leads the league in blocks, a lot of his blocks are cleanups, help side. When we talking about impacting the team defensively, defensive player of the year, I know I go hard for the Warriors a lot on this podcast. I'm going with Draymond.
Wow.
Hey Josh.
Listen to me. With Draymond off the floor, the Warriors have the 28th defense in the league. Games when Draymond is on the floor, they're first.
Wait, for real?
Yes.
Oh, that's a pretty good argument. That's a pretty good argument.
That's the reason. If you're looking at it from a stats perspective, this is one of Draymond's worst years defensively. If we're talking about from a box score perspective, but impacting the team defensively, 28 to first is a big stretch when you're on the floor.
All right, I got beef with Draymond still, so I can't support you on that take. I mean, you try to make people pay $50 for a free bar in Lansing because you went there, and I got beef with you for life. So I'm never gonna be on the Draymond wave. I'm sorry.
Hey, if you know anything about Chris, he ain't paying $50 for nothing.
For nothing. You could bring that man a steak the size of his back from the purest cattle that you have ever seen in your life. Chris, I give $30 for what? I mean, that's about.
That's the best he could do.
Bro, it's Wagyu. Wagyu, Wagyu, Seiko, don't matter. I give $30.
Why you charging $50?
I give $30.
And listen. He said 50 is my bar tonight because I'm here. You know what I did? Oh, I said, fellas, we parking lot pimping. Let's get it. We be outside.
He said the bar is yours, but the parking lot is mine. The parking lot is mine. Hit him with the Pat Bev. This is your time, but the next 4 years, that's mine. That's all mine right there.
Yeah. But I like your pick, though, guy, because it does make sense. I've seen a couple people say Draymond's a sleeper. But here's my pick, right? If we're talking about pound for pound, hold it down defensively for your team, I'm looking at how you help the team defensively in every aspect. Rim protecting, right? Perimeter defense, help defense, and also zone defense. Utilizing the zone defense when you do use a zone. The clear pick for me is Evan Mobley. You have Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland at point guard with Ricky Rubio as a backup. And Jared Allen missed half the games this year. And when he's been on the court, they've been top 5 in the league defensively. And he has Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell at point guard. Evan Mobley is clearly the defensive player of the year to me. If he isn't at least second place voting in this, then I'm going to have a problem. Because what he does for that Cavs team defensively is ginormous. It can't even be measured. can't even be measured. He can guard you on the perimeter and also guard you at the rim.
I didn't even think of that. That's a very solid pick. I will tell y'all this. I know the defensive player of the year is either going to go to Brook Lopez or Jaren Jackson Jr. And that shows you how lazy the voters they have for these awards are.
I mean, I think that there's, to me, the biggest guy that has an argument that probably won't win it this year, but he really, like, I know that I hate giving away awards based off narrative, but he's been good for so long, and he kind of feels like he needs one. Bam Adebayo is a guy that, like, he has to be in this conversation.
He should have one, but this year, not
one.
it. Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you this: if you look at the Bucks 1 for 1, you can't name a single position where they have a bad defender starting. You can't name one.
That's why Brook Lopez can't be defensive player of the year.
Drew Holiday is objectively, according to every statistic that measures this, the best pick and roll defender in the NBA in terms of point guards. He's the best.
Yep.
At your 2 guard, you've got what? Chris Middleton at the 2?
Grayson Allen.
Grayson Allen at the 2.
So Grayson Allen might be a below average defender.
I wouldn't say he the worst.
Everybody else, you got Chris Middleton, one of the. No, I wouldn't say premier. He's not what he was at his prime in terms of defender, but he's still a good defender.
Yeah.
He's still, nobody can argue against Chris Middleton being a good defender. And then at the 4, who's their 4? Who's that? Who's their power forward?
They
some
got that
skinny
boy,
guy
Yanni.
with a weird name or something like that. I don't know. Not like he's won a bunch of defensive player of the years himself. So, like, is it really that hard to defend when, like,
it's not.
You're, and y'all know me. I'm not just about, all right, what do you do? I'm in the context of what is your individual contribution. So, like, I can see the Draymond argument because his individual contribution is crazy. Bam,
on a team with pretty abysmal defenders, and Wiggins has missed 90% of the season.
Max Strus plays big minutes for the Heat. Kyle Lowry, that man ain't Mr. Bubble Butt himself ain't defended nothing.
Don't be talking about Queen Latifah out there, dog.
Hey. That man ain't defended nothing. Not a thing all year. Let's just be honest with ourselves. If you think that Kyle Lowry is a shell of himself defensively, if you don't think he's a shell of himself defensively, just watch the games and tell me how it goes. Because I know Trae Young finna give him 35. I'm willing to bet my bottom dollar. If he's on Trae Young gonna give him at least 35.
Jimmy gonna take that assignment if he gives.
Oh, of course he is, because it's Jimmy.
Yeah.
But if Jimmy decided, hey, bro, you got it. You can figure it out, right? Yeah, okay. All right. That, again, easy. 35. The easy way. The easy way. And besides that, I mean, again, who else are your really good defenders on that Heat team? Who do you think of? Jimmy is a great defender. Okay, who else?
Got Jimmy and Bam. That's it.
Everybody else, toilet water defensively on that team. And I know what everybody gonna say, but Kenton, the Heat, they effort. There's so much effort and tenacity. Effort and tenacity eventually is gonna get beat out by talent, at some point in time. And you know who was there to clean it up when that talent wasn't there? Bam. But I get it. It's probably gonna go to Brook Lopez because he's seen as the best defender on the best defense. I get it. I understand it. You know, I get how that's gonna go. Fellas, who's your MVP? Oh, by the way, shout out to Lloyd Markkinen for beating the Sada Baby Bar is gonna be your only career highlight allegations. Shout out to you. I believe we can all agree he's gonna be the most improved player. I think we can all agree to that.
Yeah, I got Laurie Markkinen.
1,000%.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay. We can all agree to that. Shout out to Lloyd Markkinen because you was in trouble, brother. You was in trouble.
And then the other one, real quick, Gibbs, Rookie of the Year. That's the easiest one.
Paulo.
Yeah, anybody besides Paulo is like, what are we doing here? Like, what conversation are we really having?
The odds for that is minus 10,000 right now.
Yeah. Like, even if the asteroid hit just where Paulo was, he'd still win it posthumously. So that's how that will work out. Fellas, who's your MVP?
I
Do you
told
give
y'all
Jokic his
plenty of
third?
times.
Is it Embiid? Is it Giannis? Who wins that MVP?
I told y'all plenty of times, and I don't want to say this because I really wanted to get Jokic MVP last year. I still feel like Embiid. I still feel like Embiid deserved the MVP last year over Jokic. But like I told y'all a couple weeks ago, my MVP is Giannis.
Okay.
I would like to say that we are living in an era offensively in basketball where there are 5 stat lines that players currently have to end the season that have never been done in NBA history. When we talk about points, rebounds, assists, Giannis, Embiid, Jokic, Tatum, and Shea all have splits that we've never seen in the history of the league. But with that being said, Giannis has the best record in the NBA. And he spent majority of the season doing that without his partner in crime. Chris Middleton was not available for the Bucks for most of the season. Yes, he has a great supporting cast, but at the same time, if you look at those other teams, the Bucks without Middleton is not a greater roster than Embiid's roster, than Jokic's roster, and the Bucks have the best record in the NBA.
Okay. All right. Chris, who's your guy?
Giannis is a good pick. Don't get me wrong. I think he should get it. But, voters are lazy. Voter fatigue is a thing. I don't know why.
Are you sure?
Yeah. From everything you see, everybody's pulling for either a different MVP or a first time we have a 3-time MVP since Larry Bird. That's what you see in the atmosphere. Now, I could be wrong. We don't know what's going to happen exactly. If we did, we'd be making a lot of money every time we thought so. So, I'm gonna go with Embiid. I've been telling y'all all year. I think Embiid gonna get it. I think his 50-point game against the Celtics. They barely won that game, but that 50-point game against the Celtics put the icing on the cake. He's the first big man since I don't know when to lead the league in scoring. He's also the first player to dominate that mid-range jumper that's above 7 foot, and I don't know how long, since Dirk probably.
Yeah.
He's also one of the only players in the league that if you take James Harden off that team, you couldn't name 5 other players on that team. You couldn't. You could do that for the Bucks. You could do that for the Nuggets, I think. But for the Sixers, I can because I like the Sixers. But I think he has the worst team out of the 3 teams without him on the team. And I think without Embiid this year, his impact this year, his leadership this year. Not only that, he's kept James Harden out of the strip clubs this year. Like, that should be MVP alone right there. So I'm going with Embiid.
I hate to say it.
Don't do it.
I truly hate it. I don't want to do it. But this is why, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say this with confidence. And a little bit of anger in my heart because it's not my fault. We should get our second ever 3 straight MVP guy.
No,
We
sir.
should get our second ever 3rd straight MVP guy. And let me tell you why this ain't my fault. He shouldn't have got at least one of the last 2. He shouldn't have got it. He shouldn't have got it. I'm sorry to tell you, he should not have gotten one of those MVPs. And let me tell you, he's the leader in win shares right now. He's the leader in value above replacement right now. He is, surprisingly, this is one of the most surprising parts of the whole deal about him. In terms of defensive win shares, he's only, I want to say he's like very slightly behind. No, he's ahead of Giannis in terms of defensive win shares this year.
If we're talking from an analytic perspective, this is the greatest season in the history of the NBA from Jokic.
As much as I
will
want to
say 25, 12, and 11 on 60, 40, 80, or 90, sorry, is tough. I think it's 80, 60, 40, 80 is tough. That's tough.
As much as I wanna say, hey, you can't give him 3 straight. Again, you shouldn't have gave him one of the other ones, because it ain't his fault that he's the best player in the league again. And I'm not one of those people that's like, oh well, you shouldn't give it to him if he doesn't win a championship. Shut up. That's stupid. It's about who was best in the vacuum of these 82 games from game 1 to final game before play-in. Who was the best player? Who had the most positive impact on their team? And every metric says there's one answer to that question. Nikola Jokic. That's what every... I'm sorry to tell you. The Serbian sauce god needs his love. Okay? By the way, if they add that to his what's that thing called? Is it
A basketball reference?
If they add that to his basketball reference, I would like credit for it. I would like credit. I would like the formal credit for calling him the Serbian sauce god. I would like that. So
we probably need to trademark that before because I could definitely see that popping.
Hey, listen, I'ma just tell you, the man got a bag on him. And with that being said, I think that we pretty much got everything cleared up here. I think that we got most of the things out the way in terms of the awards and all that. But let me just ask y'all this before we get out of here. Has y'all opinion changed on anything in terms of who y'all feel like is going to win the championship, what the finals are going to look like this year? Josh, we'll start with you.
Honestly, in the Western Conference, I have no idea who's coming out the West. I believe a couple weeks ago when we went over this, I believe I said Warriors Bucks. Mm-hmm. For now, I'm going to stick with that. Just looking at the seedings, how everything's matching up, I think I'm going to stick with that. But I'm excited because I think this is going to be the most exciting, most competitive playoffs that we've seen in a long time. Usually going into these playoffs, we say like, it's going to be some good series, but we know who's going to the finals 9 times out of 10.
Right. We genuinely have no clue this year.
I have no idea.
Genuinely have no clue. I got you. Chris, who you got? What you got?
I had said Clippers and I said Celtics, but Paul George went down, so... Guess who's the city rabbit?
Honestly, if Paul George is healthy, I wouldn't have him making the finals, but I would have had them beating the Suns if Paul George was healthy.
Silly guy.
We still doing
Clippers
this?
Go clip.
Yes.
Clippers go clip. Clippers go clip.
Are we still doing this?
Get. I learned my lesson. I ain't doing it. He can do it, but I ain't gonna do it. It's somebody else to do it.
Exactly. In the words of Eric Mays, when they go low, I go lower. And that's what the Clippers do. Every time you say, so another team got injury problems, we'll be more injured than them. Every time. Every single time. People looking at the Suns. Well, the Suns are undefeated when KD's starting. Well, what's the problem? KD gets hurt a lot. The Clippers, don't worry about it. We'll make it up for you. We'll make sure that we're even more hurt than y'all are. We already got Mr. Glass himself, Kawhi Leonard over here, but we gonna add Paul George injury to the mix. That's just what we do. We the Clippers, baby. It's a reason we ain't never sniffed the conference finals before. It's a reason. It's a reason.
So that being said, I'm gonna go Phoenix Suns, and I'm gonna go Milwaukee Bucks. I don't think the Bucks lose. They look good. The Bucks look good. They got 7 players on that team that are ready to kill somebody on that court. Literally. 7 players that are ready to go.
So you think the Narcissus is getting his second ring? Hey, listen, shout out to the Nepo babies. You know what I mean? I wish I was a Nepo baby.
I wish for sure.
Hey, shout out to my dad who was apparently a unicorn in the 80s, but didn't do anything with it. You know what I mean? 6 feet tall, running 6 feet something, 260 pounds, running a 4.8, and just didn't want to do anything with it. What a fun guy he is. What a great guy. But anywho, with that being said, I hate to get this pick. And I'm sipping the Kool-Aid just like y'all were with the Clippers. I ain't never gonna stop sipping this Kool-Aid until he walks out the league. If AD is healthy and he stays healthy, the Lakers are coming out. I thought I killed this
last week. If
AD stays healthy, they're coming out the West. Here's the problem with that. The Lakers didn't take care of business early. Their front office didn't make the trades that they needed to make early. Mm-hmm. They waited too long. And then when this team finally started clicking and rolling, they had to have Brown and AD playing big minutes all leading up into the playoffs when these other teams got to rest their stars for almost a full week. And hey, man, we are where we are. We'll figure it out from there. So now you're going from having to fight for your lives to a play-in where you got a 1 game to fight for your life to a series against the Grizzlies, which if rested, that would be an easy one. But coming off of 12 straight games of fighting for your life, it's going to be tougher. It's going to be tougher.
Gibbs, you like Snowfall, right?
Yeah, I do. It's a wonderful series.
I'll just ask you.
It's a wonderful series. It's a wonderful series. Now, with that being said, here's why I divert from y'all. I don't believe in AD to stop getting hurt. So I think that AD is going to get hurt in one of the later rounds, and the Nuggets end up making the finals. I've said this before, and I still believe in them now. I think that this is the Nuggets' year finally to get to the finals. However, they're going to come up against a team that's already knocked on the door. It's either going to be the Celtics or the Bucks coming out of that other side. I ain't got no faith in them beating Harden. I'm sorry. It's either going to be the Celtics and Bucks out that other side. And with that being said, they're not going to get their first championship. The Nuggets are not going to get their first championship. That's what it is. I think whoever comes out the East is winning it this year unless AD stays healthy. If AD stays healthy and is AD and LeBron stays healthy and is Bron, I think that they take it. But anybody come out the West besides them or any health problems with them, I think whoever comes out the East takes it. That's just... Yeah, listen, y'all can get on me for this Nuggets pick. I don't care. I am telling y'all right now.
I mean, looking at the West, I could see it happening just the way everything's lining up.
Let me tell you, I think that the Nuggets' biggest competition is the Grizzlies. I think the Grizzlies are the team that's like, oh my God, if they played the Nuggets, it would get ugly. But I don't think they'll make it out the first round. I don't think if they play the Lakers, I don't see them making it out the first round. I just don't see it happening. Like, I think that they struggle to do so. So we'll see. We'll see whether or not I'm right or wrong. We'll see whether or not it's. I do not have a Jokic bias. You know what? I'm not doing this with y'all today. I'm not doing this with y'all today. I know y'all tired of us talking MVP and talking championships and all that, and I don't have a Jokic bias. So I'm telling you right now, Jokic still ain't winning his first championship. But come on back next week and the week after that and the week after that. Peace and love, y'all.
Show not ending. There we go.
What?